Hello everybody, I'm SJM. Welcome back. Jumping into the Between Lands and into Roots this episode. So in the quest book there, after we actually we'll just talk about this I'm gated on some of this stuff over here. Firstly, like getting to silk, we have to acquire the pheromone thorax by killing an infestation. Infestations are passive as long as I'm a pacifist. This is also the biggest benefit to being a pacifist, for right now anyways, is that when I'm down in mining, these infestations don't actually attack me and I don't have to worry about them because they are a real big pain if they're coming after you when you're down in the caves. So I'm gonna maintain my pacifist state as long as I can until we make an oopsie at any rate, but the goal is to stay pacifist. There is an alternate way, which I think we'll kind of touch on today, but I'm not 100% sure. I've had an idea in mind, but I didn't see it in JEI, so I'm not sure if that's correct or not. The farming, I just don't have any seeds to farm just yet, so I haven't gone forward with this at all. But basically, as soon as we have something to plant, we'll right click on dirt or grass with a shovel and we'll get a hole which we put the compost in. And then we can grow things that way there. Elixirs, I haven't bothered to get into that yet. I don't want to use up any of my Valinite yet. Valinite is like the diamonds of the Between Lands. And I don't yet have a tool to mine more, and it's super rare down in the pitstone level. So I'm holding off until I reach, making sure that I don't run into anywhere where I'm gated yet. We did find 9 plus 5 splinters so far, but I just being careful with it, being conservative and not using any of it just yet there. So that's why I haven't gone down the elixir route here just yet. And then the herb lore book also takes a bunch more lurker skins. So actually we can start getting some lurker skins passively, and we'll do that here today as well. Bees, I do have the bees. We can do that. That's probably might be the next part of the next episode. We might get to it today. I'm not too sure because everything I wanted to do today, this is the 3rd time I've tried to record this episode. So everything's already done. It's basically just going to be me explaining how to do all of it that I've been able to do so far. So maybe we'll get to that there. Clotheslines. I'm not too keen on doing the clotheslines just now, but eventually if we need to move things around with them, then we'll get there, right? Heat sources, octane blocks. Oh yeah, this is for making some food, so I'll get there eventually. But not just yet. Where was this? This is the one that we're going to get into. So making a barrel, a water filter, and a strainer. This is a passive way to get some lurker skins and other things while we are in pacifist mode. So let's just take a look. We need 2 slabs, 2 octane, and a bucket. 3 lurker skins, 2 rope, and another plank. And then the strainer, we can't do silk obviously yet, but we could definitely do the moss one. So let's get all of that stuff together. So we'll need some planks. We'll need some sticks. I don't need that right now. Put that over there. Actually, let's do the root stuff first, because it'll just be explaining that. Oh, we'll come back to that other stuff right now, or in a minute here. So Once we completed the dimensional survey on the Crag Rock Tower, then we can see that we get the Knowledge of Druids book, which opens up this chapter here, the Magic of the Wilds. So that'll complete off the first quest in it. Then it will ask us to make a knife and collect some Terra Moss and some wild root. The recipe for the knives are pretty simple, just a stick and then either 2 bones or 2 planks there if you want to get the wooden version. So now that I've got my knife, I'm going to go out into the world and find some cragstone of the mossy variety. Thankfully, we've got some right here, right? That stuff I pointed out a few episodes ago. We can just run up the too high exit from the water just by using the sprint button, so control in most cases. And then just right-clicking with our knife on the mossy crag rock tops will get us the moss. And this is the 3rd time I've done this, and this keeps growing back. So hey, there, just to show you there. So this is essentially an infinite source of it. I'm up to 48 now because I've done this so many different times. The other thing we're going to need are these wild roots. So we were on the lookout for these pointy roots here. You can find them sometimes in the water. They'll be a little bit skinnier, but in this biome here, you can also find them on these structures all over the place. And then you just left click with them on those roots there, and then we'll end up getting some of the wild root that way. So now that we've got our basic ingredients, this is the other thing that you'll probably want to grab from this biome is this shelf fungus. There's in a couple of the roots recipes. There's more root there if I really needed it. I don't just now, so let's head back to my base, which is in this direction. Thankfully, I've got the map now, so I can find my way back easily, especially when it gets into the fog or into the night. It can be a real pain in the butt before you've got the map. Just run back here and explain everything that I did. Once I go in the right direction. It's right here. Silly me. Oh, look at this. Everything's grown up. This was all bare before, but I did a ritual here to start my grove stone, and it's growing all of this stuff around it. That's quite interesting. Anyways, we need a grove stone, a pyre, and a fey crafter. The recipes aren't too hard at all once you've got those basic resources. So 3 crag rock, 2 slabs, moss, and a root. 3 logs of any kind, 2 between stone, root, and moss. And then 5 saplings of any kind, root, moss, and then another any kind of log to get the fey crafter. We have a visitor. My favorite visitor. Drop me intestines. No, but 2 bones are good enough. Because bones are hard to find down in the caves, so I really appreciate when I get the bones off of those guys. So once we have the grove stone, it won't be activated yet. You won't have any of this green glowy and green stuff, and you won't have these particles coming out of it. You have to do, and it's explained in here, a grove supplication ritual to activate it. And then if you look on the completed ritual thing, it will tell you all of the things that you need to do the ritual. And then if you just click here, it will actually take you to that page in the book as well. So that the quest line kind of interactive with the book, but you can definitely go through the book and find all of this stuff, you know, stumbling through and just reading up on your own as well. So if you just throw all of these items, any kind of wooden door, any kind of sapling, a mossy crag rock top or bottom, a wild root, and a petal. And the petal being the trickiest one there, you'll need a pair of shears. And these are going to be handy to have on you all of the time while running around, because there's going to be a few things that you need to gather with them moving forward. So when you see them in the world, you can pull those out and snip and get them for you. So you need to use the shears on any kind of flower. So a flowering nettle, so that has to have the flowers on the nettle, or any of the other flowers that we see running randomly around the world. And then you've got to throw that into your pestle and mortar, which we had a lot earlier, and that will get you the petals. So then we throw those 5 ingredients on the pyre, and then just use an octane ingot, and you can light it that way, and that will activate the Grove Stone. Once your Grove Stone is activated, you can put down your Fey Crafter, and if the stone isn't activated, this will have an X on it. But once it's activated, then you can do your Fey crafting in here. So what I did, I need the quest book, was this recipe here. So to get spores, you can kill the little sporelings that you see roaming around in that other biome, like not the one I'm in, but the one where I got all of the ingredients there. You can also use runic shears on them, which we don't have access to just yet. But me being a pacifist, I have to do this extra recipe to get it. So this is the Fey crafting recipe. Just needed a Terra Spore, which is basically the Terra Moss just crafted with itself will give you the spores. 4 orange Dentrithist shards to make a block of orange Dentrithist, which I got all of that from the Crag Rock Tower. I've got a fair amount of it. I think I've got 20 or so left. So I've got to get a amount of that. Some of those bulb-capped mushrooms, one of those shelf funguses that I pointed out just a minute ago, and a piece of sulfur. So I put those 5 ingredients into the Fey Crafter, and I ended up getting this spore. So this is the first thing that I'll probably be able to plant. Or if I had an animator, I could make a sporling and have a sporling running around in my base, but I don't think I want to do that just yet. I started to look at going into the spell casting, but then I ran into this Gramarye of the Forest, and as I mentioned before, I'm gated on the strings, so I can't do this just yet. I think I have to go and get the runic shears first, because maybe I can get that pheromone from the infestations with the runic shears. But I looked it up there in the other recording with the uses for the runic shears and shearing entities. So if we shear these little guys, then we'll get root pods. If we shear these snails, we get the ochre snail shells. These are the frogs, I think. The lurker skins we can get once we have the shears just by shearing lurkers. We can do that every 5 minutes or so, right? As a pacifist? No, 2.5 minutes. 300 seconds. Oh yes, there it is, right there. This is the infestations. And we can get the, once we have the shears, we can get the pheromone thorax, infest the bush, and do the string thing. So that's the next step that I need to do. I'm just stuck on getting the Paraskia. The Paraskia is a Fey-craft or a pyrocrafting ritual. I need to get this yellow dotted fungus, which I have the spores for. But white pears and scabist, I don't know how to get these two right now. So I'm gonna have to probably knuckle down and get enough lurker skin to make that book to see where I can get that stuff. And while I do have 13 lurker skin in there, I'd like to have a renewable source, which is what we were talking about just 20 seconds ago or so. So let's put that knife away. Let's put this away. We're done with the roots for now until I can figure out how to get that pretty pink flower. We're going to need 2 of these guys. Oh, got the planks already. I'm going to run down here. I believe I mentioned the refractory sawmill and refractory kiln in the last episode. This block here negates the need for doing any more pit kilns, and you get a much reduced failure rate as well, so you'll get a lot more return out of it. And then with the sawmill, because there's a limited amount of uses for octene, I definitely made the octene blade. It gives us more returns on things, as well as just being easier or like more automated than using the anvil or the block chopper for doing wood. So I've got some sulfur in the bottom there. We just light it up. That does its thing. We'll craft that down into some planks for us, and dump sawdust down on the ground as well. So normally we'd only get 2 planks out of chopping one piece of, or 2 slabs for chopping one piece of plank, but because I've got the octene blade in there, I get 3, so that's a little bit of a bonus there. So let's go ahead and, where's my bucket? Aha! This bucket needs to be filled with tar. Lucky for me, I happen to know where some tar is. Both luckily and unluckily. Let's see, is there any monster there? Always gotta check if there's a monster there before I run over this way. That's the one thing about setting up this stuff over here, is I've always gotta take a peek over there and see if the big bad is there or not. Alright, now we've got that, and our wooden bucket is gone, but that's not a hard thing at all. We needed the lurker skin. Don't need that. Don't need this right now. Do I have a spot to put it away in? Sure. Can go there for now. Water filter. Need 2 rope. Got a stack of it in here somewhere. Wrong one. This guy, please. And then we'll need an actual filter, and for that we'll need a piece of moss. Or not. Is it moss? Moss. This stuff here. I guess I'll need one more piece of rope because I need to replace the bucket that I just used up. grab some water. Like this, it is. Mesh strainer. We put down our barrel, put down the filter on top, maybe. All right, to the quest book and see if that'll explain it for us. Place a filter with a mesh on top of a barrel to filter dirty water into clean water. Filtering swamp and stagnant water can even generate some items. Yes, so crouch, and then you've got to make sure. I can kind of see these black lines, right? Because I clicked there, it placed it in front of it, but if I clicked there, it got it on top. And just like that, and I clicked there. And now there's a little bit of swamp water in there. Now this should start generating clean water for us, slowly but surely. Which is something, if you saw inside my wicker basket, you saw that I had some water bottles. So that'll be the last thing to talk about today, is that, you know, in the past, because I was here almost all of the time and just had to kind of wait for some rain to happen, but, you know, we can't always be just standing around waiting for it to rain to refill our water level. Like right now, what if I wanted to go down mining right now? I wouldn't be able to. I'd be stuck up here waiting for the rain to come so that I could actually have a drink. So this way we get clean water bottles. They'll replenish 3 water drops as well as 1.5 saturation. And basically we can, before we've got the barrel, we can just put these on the campfire to clean them up. Just throw them on there, it takes 20 or 30 seconds, and then they'll become clean water bottles after that. But now that we have this system in place, you can see the water is coming down there, going through the filter, and we've got 44 millibuckets. Once we get up, I think 250, we'll be able to fill up our water bottle one time in there. And then to make these water bottles, you do need to get some of this silt glass, which is basically just cooking silt in a pit kiln, or I did it in the refractory because we go from a 33% failure to a 2% failure. So the refractory kiln's really necessary. I really do appreciate having that machine down there. And I've got tons of refractory bricks now if I wanted to make multiples of them, if I wanted to do, you know, more recipes at a time in there. Stock that back up with wood. I almost filled up with wood over there now. There we can see we've got another clean water bottle there to go. The last thing to talk about today is the Volar Kite. I used this guy a lot in the SevTech Skyblock version, Ages of the Sky. Unfortunately, in the Betweenlands here, we don't have the updrafts that we had in that other pack. But still, if we've got a good enough launching pad, we'll be able to travel quite a ways with this guy. So I've been chopping my way up this tree. I think this is the third layer I've chopped down to already. But lots and lots and lots of wood inside of these trees, that's for sure. But if we just jump off a tall spot and then right click while we're up there, then we can glide, and it's quite fast, as you saw there. So I've got a speedier way to get around now. I am at the right tree, just on the wrong side of it. I wish it was daytime so that you could see the speed a little bit better and we could go a little bit farther, because I'm a little bit scared to fly straight into the blackness. Just one thing to note, that at nighttime when I'm adventuring around, I generally don't use the sulfur torch as my light source. I always carry these bulb-capped mushrooms for that purpose. They don't produce as much light, but they won't extinguish if you happen to fall in water while you're out exploring. And you have to hit left shift to get off of that guy there, but with the mushrooms in our offhand, then we don't have to worry about falling into the water and extinguishing all of our torches and then not having any light source. And I'm kind of sad, but this is where I gathered up most of my mushrooms from before, and I was hoping that these guys respawned them. But it does not appear to be the case. Oh well, such is life. But yeah, I think that's everything I had to talk about in this episode. Unfortunately, we didn't get to do the live demonstration of all of the root stuff. It's my first time using that mod in any capacity at all, so it was a learning experience for me. And there were some derps done along the way to get there, but thankfully for me, you guys didn't get to see any of that. Not a lot of derps in this episode because of the re-records, but oh really? You like to come say hi? Thank you. I'm going the wrong way, and this is where the tar pit is. So I'm going to go around that. Or maybe not. No, this isn't the tar pit. Okay, never mind me. Alright, yes, I think that was it. Is there anything else in here I wanted to touch on before we go? Sir, trying to close out this episode. So some rituals have been adjusted and behave differently. So if you're familiar with roots, then just make sure that you're looking through the book, because I'm pretty sure those are all updated in there. But these are all just checklist tests, quests telling you about the different rituals in there. So you need to get some of these fish for your fishing quests. Which I haven't done any of the fishing stuff yet. These shambler tongues, I haven't been able to kill a shamblerlet. They keep killing me because I keep forgetting how to fight them every time I come across them. But basically, if a shambler gets you, or one of those oyster things in the water that grabs a hold of you and pulls you in, you want to hit left shift to dismount. It's like exactly like having this Volar kite out, right? Just hit left shift and you can get out of their hold. They'll grab onto you again right quick, but that's the way you can get away from them, and then you know, quickly go to town on them again. Oh, I put the basket down, didn't I? I've got something in my off sand, so I can't break it again. There we go. We can put the mushrooms away finally. Oh, and my water bottle and my shears. All right, that's it for the rambling this time. I appreciate you all for checking out the episode, and we will see you in the next one.